There is power in personal stories. It connects us, it empowers us, and it holds us accountable. It creates understanding and expands our perspective. This is Big in the Community with Jonathan James at the Kalamazoo Promise, a podcast aimed to highlight local leaders, collaborators, and innovators in the greater Kalamazoo community. All right, welcome back to another episode of Big in the Community. I'm going to kick us off with a quote, as usual. Entrepreneurs have a mindset that sees the possibilities rather than the problems created by change. And that's J. Gregory Dees. So with that, we have a wonderful guest with us today, Lucy Dilley, founder and executive director of Can Do Kalamazoo.
Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, so we'll get right into our first question. So you founded Can Do Kitchen in 2008. What has changed or evolved since now it's Can Do Kalamazoo?
A lot has changed. I mean, it started out as basically a shared use kitchen for people to be able to legally make food to sell to the public. Mm-hmm. And it really didn't even start out as an incubator because I just wasn't there yet. So I just thought, I knew we need a kitchen. People can create food to sell to, there's a big demand for locally made food at that time. I think there still is, but so from there to where we are today, which is an entrepreneur hub and a full, incubator kitchen, we didn't lose that nugget of where we started, but we've just grown and offered tons more support. Our team is much bigger. We just, even the kind of the goals that we have gotten a lot bigger since then.
Now, was there a single moment that inspired you, or what was that?
Yeah, there was. So I used to work at the People's Food Co-op when it was on Burdick Street.
Okay.
And I was working the cashier or the cash register one day, and someone came in that had just opened a coffee shop called The Space somewhere in town. It's a collectively run coffee shop. And he said, "Hey, Lucy, I really want to be able to have muffins and baked goods at my coffee shop, but I don't have a kitchen in my little tiny shop. Could we use the co-op's kitchen to make stuff every day?" And so we looked back at our kitchen, which was probably about 4 feet wide and had a stove and a sink. And we were like, I'm really sorry, it's just too small. There was an active deli program, so there just really wasn't space. So we had to tell him no. And I was like, oh, I hate this. There's gotta be some place that this, entrepreneur can figure out where he can make baked goods. So that started me on the journey of looking around for that opportunity, not finding it, and realizing I'm going to build this thing.
Nice. So a little bit about you. What about, your academic, your professional journey? Could you kind of walk us through that, how you got to where you are now?
Sure. So I moved to Kalamazoo to go to Western Michigan University.
Go Broncos.
Yeah, go Broncos. And I didn't know what I wanted to do necessarily. Actually, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. So I kind of went down that track a little bit, and I was like, nah, that's not for me. And I found environmental studies, and that really resonated with me, and I just learned a ton, and it really, when I, as an 18, 19-year-old, it really opened up my kind of critical thinking skills, and I just kind of got looped into a lot of really interesting student groups and local food movement stuff, and just kind of from there, that's really what took me to, I graduated, and then I got different jobs in town, and worked with nonprofits that were doing food systems work, and got a job at the food co-op. And that's really what was the seed, that sprouted into Can Do Kitchen. So it doesn't seem like an obvious path, like environmental studies, business incubation, but to me, it really, I can see the connection really clearly.
Yeah, it sounds like almost like a little bit of sustainability.
Yeah.
Like learning how does this community function, what's missing, what's a gap that needs filled,
Exactly.
and then you just kind of fell into that. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So let's see. I think you already answered a couple of these questions, so I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Your organization emphasizes breaking down barriers for entrepreneurs, especially those in underrepresented groups. What strategies have you implemented to help achieve that?
So we have tried a bunch of different things around reducing the financial barrier. So when we were a food business incubator food businesses actually have a pretty low barrier to entry compared to some other types of businesses. You do have the licensing, which is kind of a little bit costly. But in terms of, you don't have to have a special degree or anything. You can just actually start cooking and work your way up and, start a food business. So, but there's still, financial requirements. You've got to have money to get your license. You've got to have money to, buy your, ingredients in your supplies. You've got to have insurance, so all that stuff. So we've worked on different ways to bring that down, which would include having a scholarship program that we launched in 2014, 2015 that gave, I think, 10 different startup food entrepreneurs anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 to start that business. We've always had sort of a discounted program for our kitchen rental. I mean, the rates are low. If you were going to go try to rent a kitchen somewhere, you would pay way more than you would, pay here. But even so, we actually have a discount program for people that just don't have savings, don't have cash flow yet, maybe came from a background that they didn't have a safety net, or they don't have a spouse, or they just don't have the means to just launch
just get started. Yeah.
And then we did a microloan program a couple years ago in partnership with LISC, and so that was $3,000 to $5,000 low percent loans. So those are some of the things we've always tried to keep the prices down, knowing also that entrepreneurship's not free. Running a business isn't free. And if we give everything away for free, then it's not giving that aspiring entrepreneur realistic experience of what's going to be in the quote, the real world, where everything costs money. So let's, we try to help them, give them that boost to get started while helping them build something that's actually makes sense, in the economy.
That's awesome. I mean, it just makes me think of when some people say, I've heard some people say oh, I'm going to go in a different direction. And luckily we're in a spot that we're able to take this break from, I can quit my day job and I can go to this new adventure. Right. But for a lot of people, this is my livelihood, and I'm trying to, provide better for my family or make, better opportunities for myself, different things like that. And not everybody's in that spot, kind of like you said. So that's awesome. So I guess my next question is, so if I'm just, regular person in Kalamazoo and, I want to start JJ's Catering or something, what would be my first step?
Well, it's always important to actually see what the market is out there for what your idea is. So depending on what type of catering business you want to start, you have to make sure that you can make yourself unique and stand out from the other caterers in the community. So we always recommend doing, tons of research, go to all the events, go to networking, just meet as many people as you can, talk about your idea, go see what's out there before you start investing, a lot of your time and any resources you might have into getting a kitchen or a lot of things. People really want to jump to the really tangible, exciting things. And there's just a ton of foundation work to do before that. But if people, if they come to us, we walk them through, why that's important, and help them kind of take also sort of baby steps, I guess you would call it. So if someone is like, I want to start a catering company, we can talk to them about, here's the things that you'll need to do, just, regulation wise, or, kind of business best practice wise. But here's some things you can do starting today to kind of get you there, get you toward there. We don't want to just throw people out there and say, well, you've got to do all these things, go have fun, do it. We are there to help guide people through that process.
Okay.
So just walk through our door at Can Do. We'll help you do it.
Okay. So you have a bunch of different programs like Can Do Camp and Business Boost. Could you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yeah, so Can Do Camp was in response to really an influx of people that were coming to us that needed really structured support in kind of a weekly, kind of chunked out weekly. Because before camp, I used to meet with everybody one-on-one for like 10 to 12 weeks. I would meet with them every single week, and we would talk about their goals and, action steps and, all the things they needed to do to get started. And then it's just a growth problem, right? I was like, this could be probably more effective if we had cohorts that did it together. And so we created that kind of curriculum and program, and we've been doing it for 7 or 8 years, I think, this year. We do 2 cohorts every year, and they meet every week. Sheena Foster is our business program manager. She facilitates and does an awesome job of guiding people through every, I don't even want to say topic, because it's not academic. It's very practical things that an aspiring entrepreneur needs to be working on. And, there's, again, there's homework. I put it in quotes because it's not, you have to work between each camp session, or else you're not going to make progress. And that's what entrepreneurship is. There's always work to do. It's not that someone's going to give you, a big resource guide and you're like, I got it. You've got to put all that stuff into action. So camp helps people do that. And what I didn't anticipate from camp is that the community that they build with their peers is really powerful. And I didn't realize that was going to happen. So we've gotten feedback from people that have been through camp, for all those years, and consistently they're like, the people that I met, I'm still in touch with a couple of them. I really felt like I could bounce ideas around in that kind of trusted group. So that, I love those unintended, not consequences, but
There's something about having a group of people that are like-minded, going for the same goal. It just kind of makes it easier. And plus you can see yourself like, I'm surrounded by people who want to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And like, even like with class or different things like that, if you have somebody else that you can talk to about it, then, like for class example, like if you're taking a class, you get all the information from the teacher, but then there's some stuff that you don't. So like how to study, how to get ready for the test, you can learn that stuff from the group around you.
Right.
So I like that. Plus we also did this thing called Leadership Kalamazoo, and we were in the best class ever. Shout outs to the producer. But sorry about that. I'm gonna get you every episode. But we did that, and all people who are either aspiring to be leaders or already leaders, and then seeing what it is that we can do differently, what we can learn from each other, and then that network that we have too. It just makes things a lot easier just to say like, hey, we have this event going on.
Right.
You guys want to come to it? And then there's 50 people trying to show up to your event.
Exactly.
So another thing, the kitchen incubator, so it provides supportive environment for food entrepreneurs. What are some successes that have emerged from the kitchen incubator?
Well, there've been several over the last 17 years. Some that people might recognize would be Mama Lilu Cold Brew. She made an awesome product and had a great brand that she ran for many years. Brazilian oven, makes these delicious Brazilian cheese bread that I wish we had right now. Yeah. Cafe Rica is in Battle Creek, but they came through our camp program and they used our kitchen for a bit. Papa's Brittle, who you just saw come through the door.
That's good stuff.
She's on her way up. And there's also one that people might know of from going to some local restaurants and markets is West Michigan Pasta and Provisions. He makes like delicious Italian pasta and sauces, and there's just a lot of them. There's a lot. Oh, Dessert First.
Oh, yep.
She just opened her own, she calls it her cakery on Eleanor Street.
A lot of my coworkers like to go there for breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she expanded her menu, which is very exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you measure the impact of your programs? Basically, like looking at the local community and the economy.
That's a good question. You know what's hard to do is get people to take surveys. So, that's one thing that we do, try to get our clients to share, like, if they grew their business from the previous year, or if they've hired people, if they're taking like a owner's draw yet or anything like that. So we do, track that information. We also get a lot of qualitative kind of information from people. We've worked with the WMU Evaluation Lab the last year and a half, and they've really helped us get some good information about, not only when people are going through camp or going through a program, but 6 months later, how is that impacting them and what have they put into action? So we get a lot of testimonials, to show us. It really kind of personalizes, but it's kind of universal at the same time. We get a lot of people will say kind of the similar thing about, their skill set about branding, went from here to here, or their, just that their business kept going. I mean, that's huge, just to, go through a program or go, get a service from any of the partners in the community and like keep going and reach that 5-year mark. I mean, that's one of the things we track is because 5 years is that critical time for a startup. If you can make it past that, you have a much better chance of continuing. And if you're in an incubator, you're, I think 87% of companies that start an incubator reach that 5-year mark, which is huge compared to if you started on your own without an incubator. Okay,
that makes sense. All the things that you've mentioned already, there's so many things that go into it, like the barriers and different things. I'm taking notes right now. Not that I'm going to start my own business or anything. For job security purposes, I love it here and I will be here forever. But what are some common challenges that entrepreneurs, specifically in Kalamazoo, face? And then how do you help them get over them?
Yeah. I think that one that's coming to mind is that a lot of people come to entrepreneurship as the maker, so they have the food product, they have the, whatever product or service that they know how to do. And, it doesn't mean they have the information or the experience or knowledge to run the other aspects of the business, which there are many. The making part is obviously important, but it's not the whole thing. So I think that's a big challenge for people as they come, into the stage where they're like, all right, I want to build this business now. And they really need to reach out to people in their network, so, while you should be able to understand your books, your financials, you probably should also maybe hire a bookkeeper, consult with a bookkeeper and definitely an accountant. So same with your brand development, that's not something that most of us can really do, is just develop a brand. So work with someone that's professional. So we always encourage people, and that goes back to that early networking, like the more you're talking to people, you're meeting people that can help you later on when you're ready to get that going and launch it. That's one challenge. And then the other one is, like we talked about before, the money that's required to start a business. And we already talked about how we try to help with that. But I think that, so before COVID, it was really uncommon for there to be any like business grants, and people would come to us and ask for them. We'd be like, there's really not any, you know, so let's reframe, you know, what you're doing and try to help you. And that's, you know, how we kind of approached it. But then COVID really opened up tons of funding opportunities, and that's a good thing. But it also has like that challenging side as well, because people are, I think, more expecting that there's, you know, funding for their business, and it's not easy to get. You know, I mean, there are some funding opportunities that come up that are like pretty low barrier to you know, to get those, but there's also like loans and things that take a lot of preparation, you know, and track record to be able to obtain. So we just always try to like, people come to us with, you know, a lot of different immediate things they want to work on, and we try to strike that balance of, okay, we hear what you're trying to work on and what you're saying you need, and in our experience, these things are also needed to like get you to where you're saying you want to go, and we want to help you get to where you want to go. It doesn't necessarily mean it's where someone else wants to go, but where you want to go. So there's just a lot of trust. It's challenging too, you know, because it takes a while to build trust, but it's really, really key to helping business owners, because that's their baby, right? It's like
they care about it.
They care about a lot,
So looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of Can Do Kalamazoo? And are there any like specific initiatives or programs that you're looking to start?
Well, one big part of our vision is to complete our building. So we are halfway done. We moved in. We're operating here, but we have, you know, another 5,000 to 6,000 square feet of space that we want to develop, so that we can have even more entrepreneurs having offices here, having events, having meetings, and just building their businesses here. So part of our vision is to finish that other side of the building. And, you know, I think there's just a lot of energy around entrepreneurship in the last, you know, I don't know, 10 years, even 5-10 years. And I think the important part for Can Do is just to be part of those, part of the conversations, and, you know, kind of work with our partners to figure out like what is kind of something we can all do together to make it even more effective for entrepreneurs, because there's a lot out there in the Kalamazoo community, and we have some partners, and we're all on the same page about let's make it more effective, and so that people can get what they need at the time they need it and grow what they're trying to grow. So I just see, you know, Can Do is always prioritize being responsive, and it's important for us to be able to pivot's kind of the word I'm talking about, but be really willing and able to create something that is needed. Try it out. Like, you know, it's kind of like experimenting. So
just being ready to adapt, whatever. However, the entrepreneurial field, or not field, I want to say sector.
Like ecosystem.
How does it change? Have you guys done anything? This is a side question, like with like influencers or social media, like helping entrepreneurs in that area as well? Yeah,
I mean, so well, back to the Business Boost program. When people have kind of a specific challenge they're working on, a lot of times it's marketing. And so they'll sign up for a Business Boost package, which is 5 meetings that you get basically our whole team and all the resources we have at your disposal to help you work through that challenge. So when people come in with marketing questions, we pull in our marketing director, Jarrett, and he has tons of experience with branding and marketing, and he will sit down and work with them about, you know, what's the strategy for you that's going to work, you know, what's going to resonate with your target customer, which might be a different direction than they were thinking. And that's really one of the powerful things about, I think, those Business Boost sessions is we can give people really good ideas and perspective from experience, because all of us either have owned businesses or do own a business. So we're coming from that experience. And with the social media aspect, I mean, that's what everybody wants to work on, right? So I think Jarrett's really talented at helping them figure out what's going to work for their brand and not try to do everything. You know, like what are you comfortable doing, first of all, and then what can you do to kind of build on your strength and get your online presence to actually work for you and not just be fluff that's out there that no one's looking at, you know.
No, that's really helpful, because I know a lot of people, when they start a business, they're the CEO, they're the marketing department, they're distribution, they're you know, every single thing that there is. So it's great to see that they can instantly have like a team to kind of get them there. So personally, what motivates you to continue this work?
Well, I really love building things and creating things and kind of changing things so they work better. So, I mean, that's always going to be part of our work at Can Do, because we're not like a static, you know, organization. We're always figuring out what can we do differently and better. So that's really motivating for me to come in every day and, what are we hearing? What can we do differently? What are our team is, you know, the biggest it's ever been. We have 7 people, and they all have so many, you know, interesting ideas from like different perspectives that like having everybody in the room and sharing those has been really, really interesting. And I also am pretty motivated by I want people to be able to, you know, have the opportunities if they want to start a business. You know, I know it sounds kind of simple, but it's not. So everyone should be able to do that without having, regardless of the barriers that they've experienced that might be systemic or historic. They should, that's just not actually fair. Like, they should be able to access all the stuff behind all those closed doors, you know, to open the doors and make sure that everyone has the best chance that they can to start something. And whether they decide it's for them or not, that's up to them. But just the opportunity needs to be equitable.
I like that. If you could change one thing about the greater Kalamazoo community, what would it be? And there's nothing getting in the way.
Nothing getting in the way. Yeah, that's a hard question for me, because I see all the like nuances of things being interconnected, so it's so hard to choose one thing. And that's one of the things that we actually try to like kind of talk our entrepreneurs through too, is like there's so many things that go into it. But someone asked me this question a few months ago, and I racked my brain, and I still think that this is where I'm with it. Something like a universal basic income, honestly. Like, if everyone had just what they needed to actually just live, not just I don't even know, like have their needs met. Then they could have that foundation to start a business or to get you know, maybe they want to get a better paying job, or just I would like that universal basic income, just for the fact of it creates more, back to that sort of more of like a level playing field, I guess. And I think because we don't have that, there's so many, because of, you know, capitalism and the way that our society does things, it just really hinders people's creativity. And I think it also, I think it would free up people to actually maybe pursue a business that really did meet a need in the market, in the, you know, in the economy. Maybe instead of kind of having to approach business ownership from almost like like an urgent, or like I don't like the word desperate. What's another word? Like just a total necessity. Like people will approach it like, I need to bring in money for my household, and this is the thing I know how to do.
That's something that like comes up a lot at the Promise, is we're always the thing that's stopping a student from pursuing what they want to do is, I got to take care of my family. I need to, I have this job that I need to keep, is something that's keeping them from changing what they're going to do because they're stuck in a certain situation. Right. So I get that. I think there's a lot of people. I mean, there could be people, there could be artists that are working in fast food. There could be, people who could make the next crazy invention, but they're working in a factory line or something.
They're stuck because of that. And, when I think about universal basic income, I don't think about it like, okay, everyone's getting stuff for free. It's to try to right the wrong that has, that this country's been built on. So I don't think that everyone should get everything for free. That's not where I'm coming from. But just it frees up. I think that would free up that creativity. Somebody might create a business that they never would have been able to think about because they're like, I know how to cook, so I'm gonna cook. That's my business. I'm gonna forge. I need, I've got to make it work. So.
That was me when I graduated high school. I was like, well, I can cook, so I just started working random cooking jobs, and then I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I gotta do something different. And luckily, with the promise, I was able to do that. But it is a thing that happens where people are just kind of, this is what I can do, no pun intended. But this changes things. Like Can Do Kalamazoo, there is an opportunity where you can make it not as hard, move the starting line. You could use all these different analogies, but it changes how you approach it. So okay, we could talk about this for a while, but let's see what question I want to ask next. Are there are there any misconceptions about starting a business that you frequently encounter? And how do you address them?
Yeah, one of them, I kind of touched on, so I won't drag on about it. It's just that it's I should be given money to start my business, or that the money is just there, whatever. We talked about that. The other one is that I should get an LLC right away.
That's what I've heard.
I know. But if you really think about that, there's so many steps that should be taken before that. Once you form an LLC, you have there's legal implications. Yeah. So don't rush into it. We've known people that actually if there was any public service announcement I could give on this right here is don't go pay some third-party website to file your LLC. Please don't do that. It costs hundreds of dollars. You can do it for $75. We can help you do it. Don't
right. I'll be here next week, so.
Then
just wait. No, I'm not doing anything. I love this job. I'll be here forever. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But I would really urge people to not rush toward the LLC, or at least talk to people that that are also in business that you trust, or come to Can Do and talk to us about it. We get tons of people that are calling us that are just really ready for that. And again, it's that tangible thing. Yeah.
I could be making money tomorrow.
Right. But it's not, it doesn't flip a switch in any real way. I think it does make people feel like they made progress. And that is important, because when you feel like you've, achieved some things, you get more confident. And that's important in entrepreneurship, because you're going to get a lot of no's and you're going to have failures, right? But
looking at collaboration, I know that's central to your approach. How do partnerships with organizations and businesses enhance your programs?
So we can't offer everything at Can Do. So when we, through our partnerships with Startup Zoo and Room 35 and the beta program, we can actually say, okay, someone gets to a certain point, and then they need the resources and the programs that our partners offer. So then we can they can keep going, you know, and they don't have to drop off and then wonder what to do. There's like a, you know, we've built, you know, trust with the partners that we work with. And so then when we say, okay, we're going to send over, you know, here's this person we want to introduce you to, this is what they've accomplished with us, and we think what you have to offer is a good next step for them, then it's kind of like a full circle, you know. And it also gets us to think about things differently because, you know, different partners have, you know, work with maybe different populations of entrepreneurs that have different needs. So like we've worked with El Concilio, you know, for a few years because they have a lot of people coming to them that want to start businesses. And so we've tried different things, like we'll come and, you know, do a workshop and, you know, one of their folks will translate, or they, El Concilio send their staff to Can Do Camp and then turn around and translate our curriculum for their business folks. Now we're working on something, it's just an evolution. You know, we keep working with them. We keep kind of figuring out, okay, what's going to work, what's going to be effective, because we have kind of a curriculum and resources that we've used for a long time that are helpful, but they're not in Spanish. They have been, but you can't just have a packet in Spanish. That's not the whole picture, right? You have to have that trusted person that can, you know, work and guide that entrepreneur. You have to have a translator. You have to have the documents translated. There's just a lot to it.
Yeah.
They've been a good partner, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
That's awesome.
I hope they're okay with me talking about them on the podcast.
Probably. They'll probably be on here eventually. How can members of the Kalamazoo community get involved with Can Do Kalamazoo?
So they can walk in to our new building at 519 South Park Street, Suite 2. And we're here 9 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3 on Fridays. So walk in anytime, and we're here to help get you plugged in. If you're not ready to walk in, you can go to our website, candokalamazoo.org, and we have an intake form there that, you know, when you fill that out, it really tells us a lot about what you're up to and what you're hoping to accomplish with your business. And then our welcome coordinator, Jessica, reads that, and then she follows up and gets you connected to either, you know, the appropriate Can Do Kalamazoo staff person to answer your questions, or maybe some programs that are coming up or workshops. So that's another good way to get involved, or you can just call us at 269-492-0261, and Jessica will answer the phone and answer your questions. I'm
always impressed when people have phone numbers and emails and everything, like just memorize them, like KalamazooPromise.com. I think that's all I got. No, that's awesome. I really appreciate the work that you're doing as well. I like how how you talked about leveling playing field and just making it so much easier for people to get started. What are you most proud of like your 17 years here? I know it's a big question.
I am really proud of and actually humbled by the people that have like joined our board and joined our staff team that are just part of it now. You know, it started out as, you know, something that I was working on, not really alone, but sort of. And then as it's grown, and I've been a few times I've been in the room with the board and staff, and we're talking about our mission and our vision, and I'm just like, oh my God, all these people are doing this with me together, and that feels amazing. And I'm just like, yeah, I just feel so grateful that they want to, and that they feel like for them it's important, and that's why they want to be involved. And that feels pretty amazing.
Nice. All right, well, I'm going to close this out with another quote. So, building a business is more than creating a product or service. It's about fostering community, resilience, and shared success.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, same.
Appreciate the opportunity to talk about Can Do with you.
Always.